John Hill. Today I'm going to be talking about child abuse. My audience today is my daughter Kiara and my husband David.
How y'all doing?
Child abuse has various types of behavior. Some of them go noticed and some of them go unnoticed. By the American Humane Society, over 903,000 children are have cases of reported of child abuse and neglect. There are many signs that shows that children are going to child abuse and neglect.
Okay,
Some of them you can tell and some of them you cannot.
okay.
Approximately 1,321 of those reported cases, the children are end up dead.
Are you serious?
Children that are most likely being abused are come from single family homes
Mm-hmm.
where violence is present. Some type of child abuse are child abuse,
Mm-hmm.
child neglect,
I agree.
physical abuse,
Exactly.
sexually abuse,
Okay.
and emotional abuse.
Okay.
We're going to start with sexually abused children. There are about 9.2% of children who are sexually abused today. Some of those cases have been reported and some of them have not. Most of the cases have not been reported due to the children afraid or they find them dead and they're still trying to find out what happened. Majority of the children who are being sexually abused is not always by a stranger. It could be a family member
Oh dear.
or someone close to them.
Oh my goodness. That's terrible, isn't it?
Some of the signs of a child being sexually abused could be withdrawal,
Mm-hmm.
anger with emotions,
Uh-huh.
hard to connect with one another,
Okay.
or they might act out in sexual behavior against another child or even an adult.
Now see, I think that's terrible when they have to do stuff like that. Yeah.
I agree. There are no signs that really tells you if a child is being sexually abused because children have a good way of hiding it. If you expect a child being sexually abused, document, ask questions, and report it. On to physical abuse. 17.6% of children who are being abused in America have been reported by seeing violence in the home.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a violence against an adult and a child,
Agree.
or violence between an adult and another adult.
Agree.
Most children who are being physically abused or sexually abused when they're kids, they grow up to be abusers themselves.
Mm.
Signs of a child being physically abused, they could have marks on their face, shoulders, arms, and legs that might look purplish, black, or greenish, like kind of like a bruise mark. Normally, when you ask the child what happened, they'll say, "Oh, I fell at home," or "I fell off my bike." But sometimes they feel withdrawal when you try to touch them. They kind of feel like they don't want to be touched, or they act out in violent behavior against another child because they don't know how to display their anger.
Do you act angry against another child, to, because you don't know how to do your anger? Okay.
Most children kind of play rough with one another, so you have to make sure that those marks of bruises haven't came from rough housing with another child on the playground or at the bus stop.
Okay.
Child neglect. 78.3% of children are being neglected. Now, this could be neglected for medical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It could be neglected from food
Yep.
because there are not many children who are eating like they should or have enough food. Some cases of child neglect could be the child could come to school, seem like they haven't been taking a bath, they haven't been eating. In some cases, they show signs of parasites like lice.
Don't touch me.
Their clothes seem to not feel like they're being washed. Most children are being abused. More than one abuse occurs. They could be dealing with one abuse or all. Some children are left at home because some parents they have to work early or come back late. In some cases, they call those children latchkey kids.
Oh, what?
Latchkey kids.
Okay.
It's just basically a child who are not supervised by adult, and they used to have programs that help those children.
Are you a latchkey kid?
No.
Emotional abuse can come from a parent or an adult belittling the child, hurting their feelings, talking to them very harsh. You rarely find cases with children who are being emotionally abused without having being sexually abused and physical. 8.1% of children result in family violence. They could be witnessing their parents fighting. They could be witnessing a neighbor. Even television has violent tendencies. Even with the cartoons, some cartoons display violence, and they think it's kid friendly.
Exclude Tom and Jerry, that is kid friendly.
We have to put an end to child abuse.
Exactly. Power to the children.
No kind of child abuse is acceptable on any level of any kind.
None.
The first thing we need to do is watch for signs.
Exactly.
Some signs could be displayed as more than one occurrence.
More than one.
Or more than one thing happen.
Exactly.
You might see a child who have marks on them, but they could be being more than physically abused.
I agree.
We have to stop the cycle of abuse.
That's right.
Like I said before, most children that are abused when they're kids, they grow up to become abusers themselves.
Exactly. It starts at home. It starts with the parents.
We also have to write down, report. If we see a child being abused, we need to investigate. Instead of don't just jump to conclusions because that can cause more harm than good. So make sure you document everything, tell the appropriate people. There are sites you can go to report abuse, and you can do it anonymously.
Exactly.
Some of the sites includes the Texas Department of Human Service, also known as CPS. You can go to your local health department, police station, or fire department. If you're in a school environment or daycare environment, report it to your director or your principal. It's also good to let fellow teachers know your concerns and what's going on. See if they have any input or maybe they know the same situation that's happening. In conclusion, it's very important to keep our children safe because they are our future.
I believe that children are our future.
Children are very trustworthy to people that they love and trust, and they tend not to want to say anything because they don't want their person that is abusing them to get arrested, to get hurt, but they don't understand what is going on that is not right. So again, I say, just keep a close eye, and if you say nothing or do nothing, you're just as guilty as the person that's committing the act.
Exactly.
And I have some more lists of different places that you can go to. They got crisis prevention centers that could help when the child is being abused or an adult that's abusing the child. They also have hotline numbers that you could call for tips and help. They even got help websites that can give you more treatments and signs that you can make sure that the child is not being abused. You have children in your neighborhood, there's children all around you, and you never know when a child is being hurt. Now, I'm going to ask my audience a few questions or any concerns that they have regarding child abuse. Kiara, how do you feel about how do you feel about child abuse?
That is bad.
And do you feel that you could tell someone if you see it happening?
Maybe.
Like if it's like if it might not necessarily be a friend, but it's someone you know that's abusing a child. Like if you is at a supermarket and you see a parent really beating their child instead of just spanking them, would you say something or just walk away?
You got the Jeopardy music on there?
I mean, it's
You
okay to
just
be honest.
get another adult or something.
Yeah, I agree. David?
You know,
Yes,
if the mom or whoever is beating the child trying to start beating you. So.
Right. But you gotta remember, never be afraid to speak up and say something.
Exactly.
David, how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel that child abuse is wrong. Excuse me. Child abuse shouldn't happen to any child. I mean, do y'all agree or do you disagree?
He agreed.
Okay. Remember, child safety starts at home with adults and the police. Child safety is our number one priority. I believe that. I have 5 children, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do to keep my babies safe. Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.